Welcome to the live stream, guys. Bitcoin has been seeing a little bit of volatility recently, so I figured it's a good time to take a look at some chart patterns, looking at wedges, looking at horizontal levels, see what the MDX ALGO indicators are saying, and so on. We'll take a look at several different time frames, and as always, hop over to the 1 minute and eventually check out some smaller time frame scalping here. Just going to also be hopping back and forth a little bit because I am in this little bit of a degen scalp, but whatever, stops in a profit on that anyways. So basically what I'm looking at, guys, is on the 4 hour. All last week I was talking about this falling wedge here, and I thought it was a very realistic possibility that we get a break to the upside. I don't like the weakness that I'm seeing right now. I was pointing out this resistance box in the Discord the other day that, you know, even though I do see reason that this wedge could break out a lot higher, and, you know, this may have just been basically a fake out to the downside here, a bit of a bear trap before carrying on to the upside, getting a much bigger breakout. I want to talk about some other potential price targets with that being said in a little bit here. But yeah, as it stands right now, obviously we have to be a little bit cautious because we are in fact trading near resistance, seeing a bit of a rejection here, just bringing up different indicators here. Something that I've been quite vocal about very well in the last couple of months here is I've been loving watching which way the W's trend with the MDX ALGO 3 indicator. The W's are the reversal warnings here in the settings. And so far, we're just setting lower lows, lower highs, and these can be very powerful at kind of showing you which trend, which direction the trend is going and which way to maybe be looking for scalps. And just what I'm saying there is we have this W here. Well, actually, first we did have them trending to the upside, and as soon as they started trending to the downside, I mean, obviously very nice sell signals there. So we had this one. We had another one here, which was, again, a little bit lower than this one even. And now we've set an even lower high there. So the W's on the 4 hour are still trending to the downside on the top here. And as well, our lows are just setting lower lows as well. We have this low, lower low, lower low, lower low. It does look like they're trying to round. It looks like, you know, they're getting less aggressive. It looks like both the top and the bottom are kind of rounding at this point. We do have this nice demand zone down here. So those are just a few things to watch for you guys. Yes, they are still trending to the downside, so obviously be cautious that maybe this is just another rejection and we're going to get sent much lower. But again, it does look like it's kind of rounding. So if we do break to the downside, you guys know I've had this white support trend line mapped out. I am still really thinking that we get some kind of a third touch point along it eventually, whether that's very soon now or if that's in the very distance, maybe we break up and then come and revisit it later or something like that. But that is a level that I'd be interested in watching. And then just these key pivotal points on the market on the way down, basically, if we do break some of those key levels. But as it stands right now, I still don't think it looks all too bad just because we aren't getting a real harsh rejection here. Like I said, still downward pointing trend with the W's, but I generally trade smaller time frames anyways. You guys know I'm more of a degen scalper than a swing trader, so you know, maybe if I was a swing trader, I'd be looking at a lower leverage short kind of in this red box here that we just got rejected from, even this little bit of a double top here. You could consider, but you know, that move may have played out already if this wedge is going to be something serious to consider. Let's just hop into some shorter time frames here. Let's zoom down into the 1 hour and just see what things are saying. Another thing is, you guys, the downtrend as far as lower highs, lower lows has been broken even on the hourly here. We had this low here, we set a slightly lower low, and then again a slightly lower low. So the highest point between these two levels was right here. So as soon as we got this break, which actually lined up beautifully with that falling wedge as well, as soon as we got that break, I mean, invalidation of a bullish trend would be below this low that we have here, basically. As long as we're staying above that level, I have to remain bullish as far as this midterm goes and this wedge breakout. But obviously that is some room for some downside if we do end up getting some kind of a pullback. But that's just kind of the structure I'm looking at as far as the 1 hour goes. If I was looking for... let's actually bring up the indicators, see what they're saying. The 1 hour is also looking a little bit bearish with these as our indicators. I haven't really used this much on the longer time frames. I know, Pete, you've pointed this out on the hourly before, that when we got a reversal of these W's, it's been quite a move to the downside. And just like this, obviously we set a lower high and then it was a beautiful sell signal. I mean, what would we have got there? On the candle close, obviously it's not valid until the candle closes. But yeah, then even waiting until we got the next reversal, the bullish reversal there, 1.2%, which when you're using leverage, obviously that can be some very nice gains. So definitely some nice calls. I love using that strategy recently. I mostly use it on the minute or the 5 minute just because I am a degen like that. But beautiful to see it working out in larger time frames as well. I wanted to hop over to the weekly. Something that I noticed today is, so basically this whole blue box here is, well, going back to our previous kind of where our bull market had topped out. This was the support during that whole, well, first half of the bear market, if you want to call it that, just while we consolidated sideways before getting our capitulation to the downside there. And, you know, we are trading back in this range here, but we aren't really getting a very harsh rejection. So that's something that's interesting, is yes, we are trading at resistance on a very serious time frame here, and I don't want to overlook that. But the fact is that we're tapping into these levels and just kind of trading sideways. We're not getting that very harsh rejection that you would expect from such a strong resistance levels. And then I'm really going to microanalyze this, really going into a very, very tight range here. But as far as this pump goes, just this whole, here, let me undo that here. Just looking at this whole swing since we bottomed out after the FTX debacle there. So basically we set this high, we set a higher high, which confirmed this as our higher low. And then we broke this high, confirming this as our higher low. Now that structure was actually broken. So, I mean, that's why we got this little bit of a pullback here, obviously. But something that happened there, and again, this is very micro-analyzing each candle kind of a thing. But obviously, after we broke this level, we set this low and we set another lower low. So this would have been the lower high as far as this very, very micro. I mean, it is a weekly chart, but obviously a very small move on this chart. And really micro-analyzing this would have been the lower high technically. And that's the level that we kind of pulled back to, and we're so far holding it. But really, this structure wouldn't be broken unless we sweep this low down here, which is all the way down towards like 25K. So, I mean, Bitcoin has some breathing room before it flips very bearish on more of a macro time frame. So again, these are just kind of levels to watch for. I'm not specifically trading them, but just kind of watching how we're acting and not getting a very harsh rejection. When you really zoom out and look at things here, it just kind of looks to me like we're staircasing higher. Even though, yes, we're not really getting much higher than this. We obviously just got a fake out at that point. But again, just the fact that we're not getting that very serious support flipping into resistance and just seeing us capitulate from there. So it's nice to see that we do have that, especially when we have such a big time frame, low, lower, low. This would be the lower high, and the fact that we broke that at this level here and then flipped that resistance into support back here. I think that was a very bullish confirmation as far as the longer term goes for Bitcoin here. So yeah, basically one other thing I want to point out would be the Fibonacci's on this larger time frame. So I'm looking for resistance, so I'm pulling it from top to bottom rather than bottom to top of the swing. So looking for areas that we could see a rejection. And the fact that we actually reclaimed the, what is that, the 236? Or 238? What is that? Yeah, 236. The fact that we reclaimed that and are now turning that into support. The fact that we got above this fib, I don't really see a reason why we wouldn't start testing some other fibs before getting rejected. It would seem kind of weird to just break into the middle of this pocket and then get just crushed back down to the downside, just swatted back down. I really think that we do have some higher targets in store for Bitcoin. And obviously it's not going to go straight up. That might take weeks. It might take a few months. But I really don't think we're going to see the real harsh pullback that everyone's expecting until some higher levels. I know I've been talking about since last year. I've been talking about this 618, that I think that's going to be a real important level for the market when we get there. If we get there, I should say. Obviously, right now, it seems ridiculous to even talk about those numbers, but it seemed ridiculous to be talking about 30,000 when we were trading down here as well. So, I mean, take it for what it is. If this was any other time frame chart, if this was a 5-minute chart, an hourly chart, and you just ignored the numbers, the price on the side, you ignore all that and just look at the basic structure of the chart, to see a big pullback and then test back up to some of these levels would not seem uncharacteristic at all. I mean, it would look totally natural on a shorter time frame, but since it's a weekly, the numbers just seem big and scary to people and it's harder to comprehend. But as far as just structure goes, I see no reason why we couldn't test some higher levels. But again, this is a weekly chart. Anything can happen. Obviously, a lot of economic factors can get involved when you're looking at such a long time frame. So there is that to consider. But like I said, on to shorter time frames anyways. I actually want to check on the 1-minute chart here. I got very close to getting stopped out of the little scalp long that I'm in, just from when, basically I've taken a couple today. Just going back to my W strategy, you guys know I love pointing out when the W's are trending a certain direction. So here we had a high, we had a higher high. And as well, we started setting some higher lows as well. So I actually ended up entering a position on this candle close here. But I ended up taking profits because, again, we got another W there. I wasn't really watching the chart at the time, or I wasn't going to be able to watch the chart for a little bit. So I just ended up closing with the next reversal warning there. But then I ended up taking this new scalp here just before starting this stream, basically, or half hour before, whatever it was. Just basically looking at the same kind of structure, keeping a tight stop loss. I was looking at this as a high. We broke that, set a higher high. So then this would have been our higher low as far as this swing goes. So I was able to enter here with a nice tight stop loss just below here, basically. And from there, I was able to very quickly update my stop loss, basically to break even. And as we broke above this level, I ended up just adjusting my stop loss even more now. So I might get stopped out, but I'm totally fine with that. I'm just looking for scalps, as I mentioned. And we're going to basically take a look at some 1-minute charts, take a look at some scalps. Are any of you guys in any of positions right now, either swings or scalps, either direction? I want to hear what you guys are thinking on the markets right now. As it stands right now, the reason I have my stop loss where I do and why I have this yellow line here is, again, just looking at very basic market structure. Like I said, once we broke this level here, this was our confirmed higher low. And that would have been, obviously, we set a new higher high here. And then we broke that level, confirming a new higher high. So that changed the higher low of the trend to basically where we had this little pullback here. So that's why, and honestly, that stop loss was just luckily placed. I just gave it a little bit of breathing room below this trend line, but as long as we're not closing candle bodies below this level, I'm just going to stay in this long for now because, like I said, I can't lose. I can just... it would be small gains if I get stopped out, but everything counts. When you're looking at scalping, a win's a win. Dust's bullish. We got a swing long on Phantom. Pete, you're in a short. Bitcoin, in my opinion, is going into its next expansion phase. So you think we're going to see like a bigger pump to the upside? Like kind of what I was talking about, seeing some of these higher fibs. Is that what you're getting at, Dust? See, it's crazy how well basic market structure works. Um, Even on the 1 minute chart. I mean, a lot of times I know, typically speaking, you don't want to get into a position late, and it really depends on your trading style, but I find with scalping and just basic chart structure like this, I mean, generally speaking, I can keep a pretty tight stop loss when looking to scalp some DGen trades. Nicholas, you're thinking a bit of a cup and handle? Yeah. You're thinking like this right here? Yeah, yeah. That would be a nice little move. If we get a pullback, actually, there's something else I want to. Actually, a couple things I want to touch on right now. Is even looking at the hourly and again, really micro analyzing things. This yellow line I could raise up here just because technically we got this low here and then we got a lower low here. This would be, again, really over analyzing things, but that would be our lower high as far as this swing goes. And we did get a candle body close above that. So, maybe we're already gonna test up a little bit higher. If I was looking for some rejection points, if we are gonna get a bigger pump like this, I'd be looking at more the 786, 886 Fibonacci's. Kind of anywhere in this general area. You guys know that's my favorite fib pocket, the 786 to 886. That goes for support, that goes for resistance. But maybe we end up getting much higher like that. Obviously, we do have resistance along the way. Like anything could turn into resistance here. Like either the very bottom here where we pivoted there briefly. Basically any of this indecision candle here. I mean, there's a lot of different ways that we could be facing resistance fairly soon. But I'm definitely open to the idea that we get, even if we aren't getting a bullish breakout and we just get some kind of a bounce before a further move down, I wouldn't be too surprised to see a little bit of a bounce soon. Logarithmic. I can take a look at my logarithmic chart. That's usually what this guy's set to. Almost something like that's a nice little trend line too. Yeah, that's a beautiful looking trend line, sir. That's nice. Even being front run a little bit. What are the fibs looking like as far as this goes? Just this pump here. We did get below the 382 just very briefly. What else do we have for random trend lines here? I guess this would be my falling wedge on the shorter time frames. Yeah, even that just respected and curled to the upside so well. I'd be a. I don't like that this daily candle is already losing momentum. I was kind of hoping if we got a breakout that we would see the candle, you know, eclipsing the previous daily candle. We also have this. Again, just touching wick to wick. That's a nice little retest there. So maybe even, well, the new daily candle's going to open in about half hour. Maybe even get a retest down here and respect that as support. That would be nice to see. It's nice on the 1 minute. We do have the 5 minute volume weighted moving average below us. That's keeping up with the price pretty nicely. And as well, we do have this this support cloud here. I've been using that quite a bit recently. We also have this little demand zone down here. My stop loss is actually above that, but just some more potential support there. Things aren't looking too bad. I will be looking at taking most of my profits on this long position, actually, if we get up in here, just knowing that we are coming up to that 1 hour trend. Quite often, that's also one of my favorite trading strategies with these indicators, is finding when you get those reversal warnings, which would be these W's here. Get one of those after touching the 1 hour EMA trend. I've found that can be quite often a very juicy scalping opportunity. So I would be looking at, or you know what, even if I keep my long running, I think I'd close at least half, and then I may even end up opening a hedge short, depending how we'd react with it. Yeah, as it stands right now, I would love to add to my position again if we got, some kind of a pullback, get another W, just another high or low set. I would like to add to my position a little bit, just because I also feel like I'm in home free zone, because I won't lose if I do. I'll still want to keep my stop loss at break even, or preferably just a little bit of a profit to cover the fees. But we're going to have to see what happens here. See, notice how this little bounce is starting to struggle right in that pocket there. I am debating taking a little bit of profits. 4 hour and 1 hour looking like it's an inside bar reversal. Let's check out the 1 hour here. Daily bullish divergence. Let's check that out. Daily bullish divergence on any specific indicator. That would have been printed already back here though, no? Or yesterday. Yeah, I would like a bullish divergence on a daily chart. That's not something to take too lightly. The oscillator 4 up here is kind of in no man's land. It's by no means overbought or anything, but there's really nothing to go off of here right now. The daily money flow is still red on the oscillator 5, but it's a very, very thin cloud there. Like when you look at the buying pressure previously here in this range compared to the little bit of selling that's dropped our price a little bit. Very, very thin there. See what the weekly is saying. We also had that bullish divergence. Oh, no, that's daily too. Whoops. We still do have a green money flow on the weekly, which is beautiful. Everything else may have played out already, honestly. But again, like the oscillator 4 up here is kind of in no man's land. It's by no means looking like it has to be seriously overbought or anything like that. Oscillator 5 too. Yeah, there's this little red dot here. But that move may have already happened. And it's, again, it's not like seriously overbought or anything, kind of in no man's land. So yeah, the weekly doesn't look so bad to me. Oh, here's our bear. Stock poker. What's up? Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I haven't been following the headlines at all. But if, you know, I'm not opposed to shorting a little bit of a couple scalps here and there. I'm hesitant to get into any swings short. I did actually take a scalp short today, guys. You should be proud of me. I set my Moon Boy bias aside and won on a short. It was a small one, but I won. No inverting the chart. Just playing the W's. I think it was back here actually. Yeah, I'll short the odd time. Naturally, I do have more of a bullish bias, but I'll scalp a short here and there. Um, are you? I think I saw already stock poker. You got some swings short building. I thought so. Yeah, guys, I've basically gone over what I wanted to on like the 4 hour, the daily, the weekly charts. I was just more so going to be watching the 1 minute chart now, um, and just kind of babysitting my position, going through my thought process while I'm watching my position, looking for more positions. Wouldn't mind that. I almost should have taken a head short here, being we were in that Fibonacci pocket pullback, just in case this wick counts as a break of structure here. Um, yeah, whatever. Yeah, I'm curious to see what happens tomorrow. I mean, I usually don't really form much for conclusions whenever there is those Fed meetings and shit. But I will be well aware. What time is it? The same time as most of those meetings are? I think it's like noon my time. It's just good to know when volatility is coming up, basically. Just knowing that a few hours around the time of the announcements, just to be ready to update stop losses, take partial or full positions off the table, just kind of being ready. Either way, it should bring some volatility tomorrow, so I'm good with that. Usually on news days like that, I'm just quicker to take profits and update stop losses. If I think that I'm in a home run trade just because it went really well for a couple minutes, start considering taking profits rather than doubling down, for example. I like that the 5 minute trend is curling to the upside as well. May provide some support soon if we are just kind of trading sideways like this. What I would really like to see is to see this trend catch up to the price with the cloud. Maybe give it a test with the W on it. I love these reversal warnings. I know I've been vocal about this in the past few weeks or even a couple months here. I really wish that we had alerts, flawless alerts that we could say, hey, when a reversal warning goes and when that candle closes to get an alert. Man, I think that could just do wonders for my scalping strategies. Okay, yes, technically, really zooming in here, we did get a candle body close above that, so this could have been considered our higher low of just this swing right here. Again, really micro analyzing things because that's what we do on the 1 minute, right? So when we broke that, now we're just setting lower lows, lower highs. But might be running out of steam here. Any altcoins you guys want me to go over or anything? The only one I've really been watching much recently has been this Prop C. I know MDX has talked about it a few times. I was kind of buying back, well, basically from day one all the way down, just nibbling at it here and there. It was seeing some nice moves to the upside. Looks like it might be trying to find support now, but I mean, if it loses this support, it could go for quite a tumble. This is one that I'm interested in just kind of holding for the next bull market kind of a thing. And I'm just going to try and basically accumulate more for free as well. It's just another trading strategy of mine. And honestly, it's how I learned how to trade before I ever introduced leverage trading to myself or anything like that. I just tried to do coin building. So with Bitcoin or altcoins, whatever, but I would just, like, I wanted to be in the market, so I would be holding things. And then rather than shorting, I was just selling when I thought it was a good time to short. And I would buy back a little bit cheaper, try and accumulate some for free. So that's kind of what I'm doing with this coin a little bit. Grew my position by, I think it was about 5% or something like that yesterday on a nice little drop. Actually, it was this wick up here. I caught almost the top of it. And then I just bought back basically as soon as my phone alerted me. Quite honestly, I think most people should learn how to trade that way. I know it's so tempting to get greedy and just hop right into 100x leverage trading and that kind of thing. But I found coin building was so good for me mentally to learn how to trade, just because I could keep the money side out of it. That whole emotional side of things, I was able to just be like, hey, you know what? Yeah, hey, if I'm losing value, at least I'm still gaining coins out of it and hope that they make a profit someday. Just collecting more for free kind of a thing. So, in my opinion, that's a great way to learn trading. Like, I don't know what everyone's trading experience is and stuff, but I know whenever I have friends that kind of ask me how I got into it, that's basically how I started. And I still don't mind doing that from time to time. Like, I can't trade this one on leverage, for example, but I can trade at spot. I have a feeling I'll be out of my long soon, and then hopefully find a new one. Actually going to lower my stop loss just slightly. Just to be below that 5-minute trend a little bit. Such a minimal gain anyways if I get stopped out on this. Basically just making sure that I'm still not losing anything. But hopefully I can catch this. Hopefully we get some support and get a further push to the upside. And obviously, guys, that's an extremely tight stop loss to have right now. But obviously, this is a scalp position. This is not looking at a swing. I'm just looking to nickel and dime some profits here. Keeping risk off the table, just very quickly updating stop loss. I should have taken a little bit of profits up here, like a quarter of my position even, but I didn't, so here we are. I don't know if I want to add on that, but that is nice to see happening right above my yellow line here. I'd rather see that right on the trend, to be honest. Oh, why are you server muted? Must have had background noise before. Pete, why there? How to compute? Nicholas, just turn down your volume a little bit there, or I'll have to mute you again. Oh, thanks. Sorry, Pete, what are you getting at? Why there? My stop loss? Oh, the only reason I should have considered taking a little bit of profits up here was just because we did have this pullback. if the downtrend was going to continue here. Like if we would have broke some serious structure and been ready to start a downtrend. Just the fact that we were struggling right at my favorite Fibonacci pocket between the 786, 886, I should have considered taking a little bit of profits there. That's the only reason. The color code of the candles, honestly, I just like the way they look. I will consider it if, let's say, everything is lining up. That's why I have the colors inverted, actually. Is, here would be a good example that we have bright red candles with a reversal warning. We got the bearish divergences. Bearish divergence, big red dot here. Just basically all three indicators lining up with bright red. And I consider the same thing on the other side where, bright green candles in the green cloud, big green dot. I just like to see all the indicators line up when I'm looking at the color coding of the candles, but I honestly don't pay too much attention to when they're shifting momentum. Maybe I should, but I don't overly look into that. But I love the way it looks. Stock poker, on your picture there, does it not look like it's flipping back green though? Whatever your bottom indicator is down there, is that the Stoch RSI? And then your indicator above that, it kind of looks like all the clouds and stuff are flipping green. I know people checking this out later on my YouTube channel can't see the picture you're showing me, but I think most of you guys are well aware, but I always post these videos as well, these live streams. I always post them in my YouTube channel after, just in case people miss the full stream and they wanted to see it or just missed part of it or whatever. I always upload them here, StuTube Trading, all one word. Do me a favor, subscribe there. And yeah, like I said, I post all my streams here as well, just my own random technical analysis videos and that sort of thing. So much shorter. The streams are more like an hour or two, whereas my own videos are like 5 to 15 minutes, something like that. Oh, nice. Finding support right off that yellow line. So, I mean, again, these W's are still just trending higher and higher. So far, they are holding the trend. Once we end up forming either a lower high, like let's say now we end up setting W a little bit lower, something like that, I will definitely be looking at closing half my position. Because quite often, and not always, sometimes you get the fake outs where the directions do change like that, but quite often it's a warning at an actual shift in trend. And if I see that, I would like to just minimize my risk. Just make sure I lock something in, basically. Same with on the other end. If all of a sudden my stop loss is pretty tight here, but if I had it a little bit looser, and we ended up getting this bounce, coming back down and setting a lower low W, just a little bit lower here, I would also be looking to scale out of a good chunk of my position, just because it could be a warning that the trend is shifting. Again, doesn't have to, but just if I'm losing confidence, I don't mind losing some of my position size, basically. Oh, getting a supply zone there too, so maybe we will see a little reversal here. Yeah, just a few minutes until Asia open. Let's even just set it down to this lower wick back here. But yeah, I have a feeling I'll be stopped out here any second. Did it happen? Yes. All right, so I just locked in a very small amount of profits there. Basically covered my fees and a small little bit more. And you know, maybe I should still be in the position just because this is a demand zone here, but just going by my own rules with scalping, just basically I'm looking at a potential change in direction there, so I just don't want to be in that position anymore, even if I was correct by if I would have held on to it. So I'm okay with being out of that. Now, since we did break down below this W, I'd be interested to see if we start seeing some lower trending Ws. Like this, for example. We have to wait until that candle closes. And I wouldn't short based on that specifically. On its own, but it's just a very good warning that the trend may be shifting, and that's more so where I'd be looking for, oh hey, we get a little bit of a bounce from that level and then set a lower high W. Using my W strategy, that's kind of what I'd be looking for. Looks like we're going to get this W. And again, this is obviously scalping. I am bullish on the midterm, long term. But yeah, as far as scalping goes, just with this strategy, that's kind of what I would look for, is now looking for a W after a bounce kind of a thing. Yeah, bullish Heiken Ashi daily close. Nice. Oh yeah, on your chart there, that looks good. Actually, you know what? If I really zoom in, I mean, it is what it is. Obviously, that time has already passed. We did get some daily candle close, or not daily, minute candle closes below this, because that yellow line was my confirmed higher low after we, as I was talking about earlier, we set this high, higher high. This was our confirmed higher low. And we did technically close a couple candles below that. We had this wick here first, so it was messy, so I didn't want to consider it anything too serious. But maybe that should have been something taken into consideration, especially with, like I said, after we broke that structure, then we got to bounce right into that Fibonacci pocket. That could have actually been a nice scalp short. I probably should have hedged one there. But again, that was Captain Hindsight, just as far as looking back and what we can learn from that. Still no regrets. Didn't lose a trade, but could have ended up with a nice hedge. It's looking like I want a short, but I'd rather get some kind of a bounce, just a little bit higher of an entry if it was to happen. Price is becoming compressed, so we are close to a breakout on the daily time frame. Whether it's bearish one or bullish, not too sure, but lots of signs pointing me to the bull side. Lose support, that outlook will change, of course. Yeah, I agree 100%. It has really been coiling up on some of these larger time frames. Yeah, I don't know. It just... My thing is, usually you guys are well aware of the expression that, you know, bulls take the stairs, bears jump out the window or take the elevator, whatever you want to say. The bears just really don't seem to be seizing their opportunity like they normally like to pull the trigger pretty aggressively. And it really just looks like, you know, we broke that structure, but still we're just kind of trading sideways rather than seeing that quick sell-off. Maybe it is just because it's a larger time frame, but generally speaking, the bears move pretty quick, and they're kind of lacking on that. The fact that we're not just breaking structure and getting those more violent retests, and the fact that we're just kind of slowly trading downwards. Buying pressure on MDX 5 because of very near the bottom. Pete, which time frame are you talking about? On the minute chart. There's no green buying volume cloud yet, money flow, but we do have a lot of green starting to show up for sure. And we are close to the bottom of the MDX 5 there for sure. For me to enter along again, either one, we see the W's take a shift back to the upside, or two, basically if we end up breaking lower high structure. And as it stands right now, just looking at this swing here, we basically had this low, we have a lower low. This would be our confirmed lower high. I'd want to see a candle body close above this as it stands right now. Obviously, if we trade lower, that's going to change a little bit. Like if we take out this low, set a lower low, then this would be our new lower high, obviously. I'll just move the yellow line there right now. So if we end up breaking that low, here, one sec, let me clean shit up a little bit here. Basically, if we break this yellow support line here, then this lower high will drop down to where this yellow line is. And that will be our new lower high. So yeah, as it stands right now, I basically just want a break in structure on the 1 minute before I'd go long again. Yeah, stock poker, that's actually something I've considered as well. Here, let's just clean totally, you know what? Just start another chart here. Go to the daily. Let's just remove drawings. Yeah, so basically, your picture just reminded me, it looks to me like you have a bit of a rising wedge there. I know a lot of people have been pointing out that they think we are in basically an ascending triangle. But since we got this failed break, to me, it looks more like we might be in a rising wedge, which obviously they do have the tendency to break to the downside more often than the top. Obviously, it doesn't have to happen. I would want to see a third touch point on this support trend line before breaking and retesting, before I'd be willing to consider this a bearish pattern. As it stands right now, I'm only going to consider this one touch point, so I'm considering it that we only really have 2 touch points on each trend line. So either way, whichever direction this pattern would break, I'd want to see a third touch point before it breaks, before considering it too valid. But yeah, I definitely think there is potential for a lot of people to get blindsided thinking this is an ascending triangle. But if you actually look at the wicks, there's a hint there that this may be a rising wedge forming. Getting a nice little bounce here, but we are now entering the supply zone on the 1 minute with the MDX ALGO 3. As well, coming up to that lower high. And the 5 minute volume weighted moving average, which has flipped red. I'm actually going to get a little short order prepared just so I can basically hit enter if a W shows up or something like that. I'm not entering yet. I want to see how this plays out here. So the cloud has flipped green already. I'm kind of undecided right now. Seeing a lot of mixed signals. I'd feel a lot better about a short, like I said, if we see a lower high come into play. Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I think it will be kind of a boring night just because, yeah, like you said, a lot of people are going to be waiting for that announcement tomorrow. I'm going to start a very small scalp here. Stop loss will be just above here. Lately, I've been, my shorts, I've done smaller position sizes than my longs just because I am a little less confident in them. But you know what, since we're possibly getting this rejection here, third touch point of that trend line, W's trending to the downside on the bottom. Yes, I don't have my full W strategy going for me yet, and we do have this green cloud of support here, so there is a chance that we are just going to blast right through this. But since we broke this structure back here, I'm just going to swing at the short side here. Ideally, we actually get up a little bit higher, and I can add to my position a little bit. Usually, in a situation like this, I just have my stop loss up here a little bit. I like to ladder in towards that, so I've decided that I wanted to be in a position. Not to say that I'm going in a position and doubling down up here, but more so deciding I want to be in a position, entering half my position there, and I would like to add the other half depending how we would test up higher, like if we get another W or that sort of thing. Thanks for checking in, Stock Poker. I've missed having you here. You've been too busy lately. Haven't had any of our long after-hour bullshits. We'll have to get on The Voice again one of these days here. But yes, vote Emu. Later, man. Not looking super weak here, but I think they were having troubles with the alerts matching up with the names and stuff, just because of how it works with TradingView or something. I don't know. I'm not really the guy to ask. I'm basically a tech boomer here. I will mention it to him again. I'll keep pestering him until we get it. I find that generally, as far as fees go, if I make when I enter on these very small time frame, tight stop loss scalps, I'm usually using like 50 or 69x leverage. And I find that if I make about 0.5% profit, that it covers my fees. I find it quite minimal. I'm trading on MEXC. I find the fees are quite reasonable actually. I think it was zero point 0.5. Yeah, I think we might have a bit of a boring night here. Anyone else in any scalps? Check out the monthly chart. Um, oh, I think that monthly chart looks beautiful. Again, just kind of looking at that basic structure, even on a monthly time frame, we had this low, we had a lower low, confirmed lower high, and we broke that and treated it perfectly as support like that. I love that monthly chart. Also broke that downward sloping trend, obviously. Even if we wanted to move that over and do something like this, obviously we don't have my 3 touch points. I don't know how necessary that is on a monthly chart. Either way, we can see these downward sloping trend lines starting to curl to the upside. You know, maybe the next one is here, break that, form support on it. Obviously, there's a few ifs between now and then, but yeah, I'm liking that. Not liking this as far as a short goes. We also broke back above the 5-minute volume weighted moving average. Bigger time frame, so this was our low. Let's see what happens here. Might get that guy. It's still a little early to say, obviously. So we do technically have the W's trending to the downside, but it's not looking like it necessarily matters. We'll see, because when I use that that strategy specifically just that strategy. I mean, it doesn't have to play out by any means, but I would usually just have my stop loss somewhere just past the previous one. So something like this. Obviously, we have our lower high. Stop loss just a little bit of breathing room above the previous one. And if that changes, then obviously the structure of the chart could be changing as well, in which case I just want to be out of my position. Yeah, at this point, I think we'll probably break this, even if it's just a wick. I would not be too surprised to see a failed break at this point, since we closed so close to that level. Get a little volatility going here. Yeah, money flow is definitely important. Like, really, the W strategy, it's a simple strategy. You can usually get a fairly tight stop loss with it, which is why I really like it. Um, but yeah, absolutely. Like, I more so started using it as confluence to show which way I should be looking for scalps, but I still like to look at structure, Fibonacci levels, stuff like that. Just this is the easiest way for me to show it, basically. But yeah, for sure, there's things more important than these W's. These are just one signal I kind of developed a strategy with to keep nice tight stop losses when scalping. Um, but yeah, like the money flow, I mean, money talks, right? So even right now, I mean, I don't know if I should really be in this position just because we have this green money flow cloud, to be quite honest. But we'll see. And if I get stopped out of this one, I'm probably just not even really gonna try shorting, at least for the rest of the day. I might swing at a scalp long later or something if a good setup happens to slap me in the face, but I don't know how much I'm gonna be watching the charts tonight. Probably won't be sitting at my computer as soon as I end up leaving here. W's are perfect in a smooth flowing market during weekends without any disturbance by manipulation or special data events. They work great. Yeah, like that's the thing. If you notice a strong trending market with those W's, man, sometimes it's just like a pinball perfectly. Like if they're trending to the upside, every time that you have one on a W on the bottom and you just enter along there, like in a trending market, that can be such a simple way to pick your entries. But yeah, obviously in a choppy market, it won't work as good. But you know what it will do is it'll give those warnings. Like, even here, even if this was not necessarily correct, that we weren't going to trend down. I mean, actually, technically, after the second one, we did still trend down a little bit. But More so just the warning, right? I mean, it's not going to be a perfect entry every time, but it's just nice that sometimes as you're getting really cocky, maybe up here, I would be looking at doubling down on my position kind of a thing, thinking we're about to break out, but instead I notice that the W's are starting to warn at a downside move. If nothing else, just as a risk management tool, it can be so good in more than just one way. Yeah, it is often said do not trade on weekends, but the short term trading is quite easier than it seems. Yeah, honestly, I don't mind trading the weekends. I find I do some of my best trading on weekends, to be honest. But again, I'm more of a scalper rather than a swing trader, so maybe that's why. I'm really getting hungry and ready to go eat, but I kind of want to see something happen here, one way or the other. Also, guys, sometimes when I don't have time to make videos or do live streams or whatever, sometimes I do share some analysis on my Twitter. So if you're on Twitter, that's another place to check. Sometimes I share a little bit of analysis. Actually, I was talking about this wedge last week quite a bit. The bigger 4 hour wedge there, we did get a nice breakout. We did hit above 30,000, so that was beautiful. Yeah, I really do have a sneaking suspicion we're going to pump soon. Even the fact that we do have this warning, to be quite honest, I'm just hoping for a bit of a pullback to just get out of my short. Because we do have this warning that we might be starting to trend back to the upside here after a very short lived bearish signal there. I do think the magic with this W strategy is not even the fact that it does play out quite well quite often, but just the fact that it does give you such a tight stop. Like I did enter a little premature based on this other, just off a totally different setup. But if you would have, for example, just played this and you didn't enter until you got that second W, I mean, if you did get stopped out, that would be such a tight stop loss. That's the magic of this strategy. I know I was sharing the one day when we got that beautiful pump to the upside not long ago. Just, I think, was that late last week. My stop loss was only like, I think it was $23 away or something like that, and I ended up catching like a $700 or $800 move. So I mean, the risk reward on that was just so crazy, and it was based entirely off this strategy. So even if it doesn't play out every time, man, it can just provide such a tight stop loss if you wait for those setups where, if you're looking for a short, obviously you're wanting the lower trending. And as long as you get those W's very close together like this, I mean, that provides such a tight stop loss. Which it looks like mine will probably get hit here soon. I guess now something to watch for, if I do get stopped out, and I really think I will, would be that we set a higher high there. And now to see a higher low come into play would be nice. And as I was just talking about, ideally it would be very close to the previous one. Like we pull back all the way back here and we have a nice tight stop just below this box basically. That can be a very nice position to be in, but just because even if you do take the loss on that, it's just so minimal compared to the potential gain if you are going to, if you get that higher W, something like that. Again, just a perfect setup kind of a thing. Your stop loss very tight, potential gains much bigger. So it's just a very nice strategy for that. Getting close. How is your compounding strategy when it goes into your direction? Like, how do I add back into my position kind of a thing? So let's say I was in a scalp long from down here instead of a short. Let's just say that I was in a trade that was going in my favor. Let's say this is where I entered just because there's a W here. It doesn't match my rules. This is all just theoretical. If I entered here and then I saw these W's come into play, since I had a lower high W come into play there, I would have been looking to close at least half my position. Well, actually, I shouldn't say that. Sometimes it's a quarter. It kind of depends what I'm looking at on the longer time frames as well, but at least a quarter, most likely half if I'm actually scalping. And then I would let my position run, but then my stop loss would also be at break even at that point. And then if we pulled back and got some kind of a W, for example, depending what kind of a setup I'm looking for, but after a pullback, I would consider adding back into my position, knowing that I've already locked in some profits, and I'd only do that if I know I can keep my stop loss in at least break even, but preferably even in a little bit of a profit. That's the only time I'll actually add to my positions. I don't want to add to my position if it's just going to make me take a bigger loss. I only like to add back in if I know I'm taking profits. We got close to my stop loss. What was it, 31? Yep, 631. Well, was this the fake out that we needed? Is that our little liquidity grab? As far as this little swing goes right now, that would be our high or low, actually. High, higher high, higher low. So it's actually something like that. I'm going to drop it to the next one here. We might just find support at that higher low. But if not, well, then I'm just going to hold on to the short for now. All right, that's nice to see. Should have waited for that W strategy. My own strategy, I would have had a little bit better of an average entry had I entered here instead. And I'd be slightly in the green right now. Very slightly. But I'm not. Daily open and stuff like that. I do look at it sometimes. Usually that's more, I guess, when I'm planning bigger trades, like more swing trades. As far as scalping goes, honestly, my strategy is basically the W strategy that I was talking about with which way they're trending. Hitting the 1 hour EMA trend. I love taking positions around that as long as it's reacted with well. You can see it kind of catching up with the price a little bit. But right now that is showing as resistance, but that's another one that I absolutely love to trade. Other than that, just basic market structure like I've been kind of talking about. Higher highs, lower lows. So basically three main strategies that I use generally. Actually, Fibonacci's as well, depending how we're reacting. As I was pointing out earlier, that 786, 886 Fibonacci pocket. That's something I'll take quite seriously as well if I happen to think about it and catch it. If I see, let's say, the indicators are agreeing whether it's, again, a reversal warning or the oscillator 4 or 5 are showing some sort of a bullish pivot, anything like that, while I'm kind of trading in that 786, 886 pocket, double bottoms in there, anything like that, bullish divergences or bearish, depending which way you're trading it. Stuff like that I will also consider in the Fibonacci pocket. So I guess more like 4 main trading strategies I use. My favorites are definitely just playing the trending W's and playing, again, W's off the 1 hour EMA. But even just like fake outs, just basically just seeing how the price reacts when testing the 1 hour EMA. That would be, so yeah, trend 1, I have the 5-minute volume weighted moving average. Trend 2, I have the EMA 1 hour selected. And that's what I've used the 1 hour EMA ever since I started using these indicators. And just in a trending market, man, that can be such a strong signal. What else can we find here very quickly? Yeah, I don't know. Does anyone have any other questions or requests? Anything? I'm getting kind of hungry, so I'll probably wrap up the stream here fairly soon. Was there anything I was unclear about while I was in my ramblings throughout this video? Whether it's my strategies, structure, anything I was explaining that you're like, Stu, that just makes no fucking sense. Perfect. Yeah, I'm pumped you guys were all able to make it. It was looking like a pretty small crew at first. Not that there's anything wrong with that. That's fine too. I can talk to myself and keep myself busy. But it's always more exciting with you guys here to interact with. We're getting finally getting back to break even here. Getting close. And obviously, guys, even if after the stream, like I said, for one, these will be on my own YouTube channel. But as well, if you do have questions, like just fire off a message in the Discord, in the chats there. If there's anything that you think of after the stream or whatever, just usually get the messages pretty quick. How much time do I spend actively trading per day? Good question. It really depends on the day. Like if I don't want to be watching the charts very much, I will just kind of pick price points like structure levels like this, and I would just set alarms on those lines, and I wouldn't really look at the price until we see those levels. However, if I'm at home either watching TV or playing video games, like I have 3 monitors on my computer set up here, so I'm quite often I'm playing video games, and I have, you know, the DGen time frames up looking to scalp some trades as well as watching TV at the same time. So in that case, I guess, is that considered active trading? Because I'm doing other stuff, but it's on in the background. So for video games, I play Diablo 4. I was a huge Diablo 2 nerd. And League of Legends a little bit. Haven't really played it in a few months. I honestly, in the summer, I have such a hard time playing video games. I was so excited for Diablo 4, and I've barely played it. But those would be the 2 games I think I mostly play. I would love to just see a real quick nuke. Test back down to some of these levels. If we do get a further pullback tonight, you guys, some levels that I'd be interested in watching would just be some Fibonacci levels. Like I said, I love the 786, 886 Fibonacci pocket. So as far as this swing goes, specifically, if we lose the 382, quite often we'll bounce and then end up working our way down to these levels. So this fib pocket is a level I'd definitely be interested in looking for some long scalps, or just looking for a reaction that makes me think it's a good time to scalp, kind of in those levels. I'll probably set an alert there in a little bit, actually. But I love those Fibonacci levels, and that's a level I'd be interested in watching if we do end up taking a tumble. This video should be up in probably a couple hours. I'll start uploading it as soon as I wrap up here. Sometimes, since these streams are a little bit longer, it does take a while to upload sometimes, but it should be within a few hours. Okay, you know what, guys? Since I'm just not even... I think I'm actually going to update my stop loss. Just since like I said, I was hoping to get back down to break even on this trade, basically. Now that I'm kind of getting there, I'm really tempted to update my stop loss. And I know this is probably going to be way too tight, but I'm just going to... maybe I'll just set it up here. Just basically, just since we lost this support, as I was talking about, just a change in structure, this would now have been our lower low, lower low. This would be our lower high at this point. So I'm just going to snug up my stop loss just at this point. You know what? If I take the loss, I want it to be smaller than it was going to be before. I'm just not sure how much I want to be in this position right now. Actually, I'm going to tighten it up even more because we broke this as well. So you know what? I'm just going to set my stop loss basically right there. So like I said, I kind of wanted to be out of my position as we get close to break even here. Let me do that real quick here because it might happen. Oh, my entry is higher anyways now. I forgot. Since I added on that that lower high W. 91 point... Oh, no, 90.6. So you know what? Let's put our stop loss in a very small profit. And I mean very small. Profit will be 0.6% if that gets tagged. So it will just cover my fees basically. Man, we were close to my... We were like $3 away from my stop loss up here. Oh, a nice little bull flag up on the 30-minute, you're thinking, Dust? Yeah, you know, I do like that little break in structure we had there. I can see it on your chart clearly, and that's one of the reasons why I don't really want to be in this short and why I'm really considering closing it. I'm just going to keep bumping up my stop loss since I don't really want to be in it. Let's go 581 will be our current stop loss. You know what? Screw it. Let's bump it up even further. Let's go 576. It will be a 3.4% profit if it gets hit. Whew. Dodged a loss. See, now this is where I think we are getting at support. You know what? I'm actually just going to close it. Screw it. I'm closing it. 6.5%. Yeah. 6.5% profit. Just took it right now. So the reason why I just took it right now is, again, just looking at basic structure. So we had this high here and we broke it and got a higher high here. So there is potential for this support to come into play right now. And since, like I said, I was a little bit nervous with that short in general, so I'm just willing to close it now. You know what? Maybe it just nukes from here. I'm just not comfortable being in there as we approach that support, so I'm taking the profits and running. Actually tempted to swing it along now. Screw it. Let's do it. Let's swing it a little long too. Stop loss is going to be right about here. Let's go 29539. $568 so far. I only put in a third of my position. There's a few reasons to be bearish right now. One, we have this big red resistance cloud here. We just do look a little bit weak. But basically just going back to the fact of, you know, we do have these. And this technically is very slightly higher, so a nice tight stop loss for the size of potential move that we could get. That's basically the only reason why I'm taking this one. Oh no, I don't want to accidentally just sit here for another hour because I did this. You know what, guys? I gotta wrap up this stream. I'm hungry. I gotta go see if I can help out with supper and whatnot. But you guys kind of know what I'm looking at. Again, if anything didn't make sense between my W scalping strategies, the way I look at structure, anything like that, if anything didn't make sense, by all means, you got a second here? Crypto Tiger just got here. Yeah, you're late to the party. Took a small win on my first scalp that I started just before the stream, and took a small... Sorry, what did I say there? I took a small win on a long scalp that I started right before the stream, and then I took another small win on a scalp short that I just closed recently. Now we're swinging at another little scalp long here. Can we go 3 for 3? Happy meal for me, yeah. Well, if I lose this trade, I'll have to go work and earn it. Go work in the McDonald's kitchen. What do we got going on for structure here this swing? Oh, we are currently testing the resistance. Obviously, same thing. We got our low, lower low. This is our lower high as far as just this very micro swing goes here. And I am going to update my stop loss just because I see reason that, there is absolutely the possibility we just get shut right back down. So I'm going to set my stop loss at 29,574. Oh, I placed it perfectly. How about the odds? Just because yeah, I just don't want to take a loss here. I want to go 3 for 3, even if it is very small. That'll be a 1.5% gain since I'm still at 69x leverage. That'll be a 1.5% gain if that stop loss does get triggered. As we change structure, if we do continue climbing, then I'll just be chasing with the stop loss. But as it stands right now, hopefully you guys did enjoy the stream. Hopefully some things I said helped something click. Hopefully you appreciated the strategies that I like to talk about. And including anybody here watching my YouTube channel after and just being, I don't know if you made it to the end. Hopefully you did. But if you guys appreciate seeing these live streams later on my YouTube channel, for those of you not in the private Discord, smash that thumbs up and give me a subscribe. It would do me a big favor there, and hopefully you appreciate getting insights to this. If you do appreciate these and you want to get involved with the live streams, and not just myself, I think there's 4 or 5 of us coaches every single day. There's live streams going on. I'm actually going to update my stop loss here right after I stop talking here. But yeah, there's daily live streams, lots of coaching events, lots to learn in this group, and plus obviously my favorite indicators that I've been using for the past year or so for my scalping strategies. So there is a 15% discount referral link down below in my comments on my YouTube page there, or on the YouTube video that I'll be posting. So with that, like I said, you guys, if you appreciated this video, thumbs up and subscribe. And with that, I'm out. Stay safe, my friends. Peace.